Hi there, my name is Kassidy Freestone, and this is my Parenthood project for Intro to Parenting, FAS 301 with Professor Cortes. Now, to start off this project, I think that I want to shed light on the resources that I found most helpful for this project first. The first one being my personal experiences growing up. I think that had a lot to do with some of the things that I found most helpful for this parenting kit, in addition to advice that I got from my mom. I also found that the process of parenting textbook that was provided for this course was also very important while putting this kit together. I don't really believe that you can put a theme to my kit, certainly, or since there isn't one certain way that you can raise a child. I really believe that every child needs to be raised differently because of the different personalities and the different ways in which they develop. So that's why I decided not to put an exact theme to this kit. I think that a kit that has the best interest of the child is also very important, but it needs to also focus heavily on the well-being of the parent. A kit that focuses on both these things will also help the child thrive throughout development. Now, the first thing that I found most beneficial for parents from birth to 2 years is the integration of something that helps them unwind and become more in tune with themselves. This is a really stressful stage of life, and I think that if parents are able to connect with themselves, they'll be overall better for their child. And so the first thing that I think that parents should consider taking part in is a yoga class. Yoga is a practice that really utilizes the mind, the body, and the spirit. And I think it could be very important or helpful for a parent's mental well-being. And it'll give them a much needed break, of course. And many individuals that do yoga find it to be very relaxing. Now, the next thing that I found very beneficial for this kit was parents should consider reading certain books that might give them a better understanding of how to soothe their crying baby. In the textbook by Dr. Harvey Karp, he wrote a book that is called The Happiest Baby on the Block, and I think one of the mechanisms that he found most beneficial to soothing a baby is called womb service, and I think this method could be helpful because it really mimics the life that a newborn experiences while they're in the room or in the womb. So I think this gives them a better sense of peace, and they're more calm, and this method's overall goal is to soothe the crying baby much faster. Now, from years 2 to 5, I think one of the best ways for parents to have a greater behavior out of their child, making parenting easier, is to point out where their child is doing well. For example, if you recognize a child's good behavior and you thank them for behaving that way, I feel like they're more likely to want to repeat that behavior because they like to see their parents happy. They like to feel the reward of seeing their parents happy, and this overall makes parenting much easier. Now, the next thing that I think should be important for parents is to provide a sensitive parenting style even throughout this stage of life. I know that it's stressed that it's most important to have a sensitive parenting style in the first 2 years of life because that sets the tone for the next years, such as preschool. But I think that continuing this sensitive parenting style throughout years 2 to 5 can be beneficial because the children are able to form healthy attachments to their parents, as well as the parents are able to form a healthy attachment to their child. And when a healthy attachment is formed, I think it creates an environment that really breeds effective communication. And when there's effective communication, the child is less likely to have temper tantrums and less time is spent fighting with their parent. I mean, you're never going to be able to completely remove it, but if you can minimize these things, I think that could be quite beneficial for both the parent and the child. Now, the next stage is a stage that I think that a lot of parents struggle with because this is the first time they're really going to be away from their child. And I think one of the best ways for a parent to still feel like they are living a satisfying life is to remain really involved in the activities that are going on in their child's life. For example, they could volunteer at their um, child's classroom or in the community or even at their kids' sporting events. All of these activities really, I feel like, give an individual a sense of purpose and meaning. Oops, sorry. And they're spending less time with their child already when they're at school. So I think this could be very beneficial for parents to make them feel like they have a purpose in their child's life even as they're beginning to grow. And this was the method that my mom has actually used for all four of us kids. And she said that this is something that really helped her as a parent feel like she was doing enough. Now, the next thing that can be really important for elementary school age children is a parent's ability to integrate the co-regulation method. This method can provide much benefit to the parent in the years to come because this method is a practice that allows the child to start making decisions of their own. A child that's able to make healthy decisions much earlier, I feel like, may benefit the parent because the parent will be less stressed and have more trust in the child when the challenging stages that may come with adolescence are brought to the surface. And the reason I chose this picture of the building blocks is because, like I said, I think that if a child is introduced to making healthy decisions at a much earlier age, this forms the building blocks for a healthy relationship with their parent during adolescence. Now, the next stage, which I think that my mom can agree and a lot of other parents can agree is the most challenging stage, is early adolescence. And the reason that this stage is so difficult is because there's a lot of differences in views that many parents have from their child. Oftentimes, parents spend much of their days in conflict with in conflict with the independence their child is trying to gain, while they're still trying to hold on to that last bit of childhood that's left in there before real adulthood starts. I think parents would really reap benefit from joining certain connect groups at church or on Facebook or in their community. These groups would have parents that also have children going through this stage of development, and it creates an environment where parents can open up about their stresses and get advice or tips from other parents that may be going through the same thing. And this could make things much easier for themselves during this difficult time in their lives. Now, the use of technology like we're using right now, it's become ever growing and it can be really beneficial to parents of today. There's two main apps that I've heard of, and this is also mentioned in the book is the use of technology, but ones that I know of are Find Friends or Life 360. And even being in college, my parents still like to use the Life 360 app with me just because I do still live at home. They like to know where I'm at when I'm driving or when I'm using my phone while I'm driving or even how fast I'm driving when I'm traveling in the car. At first, when they decided to get this app, I was a little bit annoyed and I thought they were a little crazy. But the parents, I think children need to understand that parents need to take every precaution that may be necessary to keep their child safe in today's really dangerous world. And these safety precautions allow parents to feel like they're at ease, at least knowing their child's whereabouts. So if something were to really seriously happen, they could come in an instant. Now, for this next stage of development, I purposely chose a picture of an empty nest because I think that this is one of the things that parents struggle with most during late adolescence, early adulthood. I think one of the best ways for parents to remain a positive influence and role model in their child's life during this stage is to remember what they wanted from their parents when they were that age. When parents are able to view things from this perspective, they may have a better understanding of how to have a successful relationship with their adult child. Something that my mom has also found really useful is utilizing podcasts or live chats on different social media platforms that discuss these hard transitions. It's made things a lot easier for her, I know, and some of her friends. I also think that she found that knowing these things made her more at peace with how to cope with us children leaving home. Another thing that the textbook suggests is one of the best ways for parents to cope with their new roles in parenting is to take up hobbies of their own. I think that oftentimes many individuals, after spending so many years parenting, aren't really sure what they want for themselves or their own interests or talents are anymore. So when a parent takes the time to focus on themselves and explore the new developmental stages that they're going through, they're more likely to be happier with this transition and the new role that they have in their in their child's life. Now, in conclusion, I think I learned a lot about the importance of the self in parenting. I think that there really is a lot of emphasis in most parenting books and in our society about making sure that we're being enough for our children at all times. But in reality, you really have to make sure that you're enough for yourself before you'll ever be able to be enough for your child. This project has really completely changed my view of the way I see parenting as a whole. I now really have a better understanding of why it's so important to be healthy and be okay before you really ever consider becoming a parent. And reason being, to our children really can sense any bit of energy that we give off, whether that's positive or negative. And when we're not able to give off good energy, this can truly negatively affect children when it comes to their school life or their ability to build relationships with other people. I really also learned the importance of understanding my role in each of my future child's lives. I also think that when I'm able to understand my role, I'm able to promote a better relationship with them that's happy and healthy. And one of the things that I think is most important in a parent-child relationship is honesty. And this project kind of helped me find things that I can utilize to make sure that I have that honest relationship with my children throughout all their developmental stages. And then the reference that I found most helpful for this presentation was obviously the book and my wonderful mom. This is a picture of me and my mom. I think I was in second or third grade, probably about 7 or 8. And I wrote a little note here that says, this project really challenged me to see things from a very different perspective, which was very true. I interviewed my mom because I knew she would be a great reference to use for this project. And I was also able to go over some of my favorite childhood pictures and memories while I did this assignment. Thank you so much for watching.